Welcome to Class Notebook. Your OneNote class notebook is a digital notebook that the whole class is going to use to store their instructional plans, your daily data, daily lesson reflections, weekly data, etc., and any other documentation that relates to your performance at your field-based site. So this is what the landing page will look like, and we're going to be going over these different sections that each of you will add to your own student section. So right now there are no students in our course. Eventually your names are going to be right down here, so you will find your own name, and then you are going to add each of these sections, and then we'll talk about the different pages that will go within each of your sections. So the first area that we're going to take a look at, you're going to add a tab that's called Field-Based Candidate Information. And once you create a tab that is labeled Field-Based Candidate Information, you're going to then add a page. And it's really simple. Go to Add Page, and then you can just easily type in whatever the title will be. So we ask that you create one for emergency form. So later I'll show you where you can find these emergency forms. Once you have your information completed, you will just drag it and drop it into this page. Here's a spot for your class schedule. So once you learn what your weekly class schedule will look like at your clinical site, you will include that here. Here's a place for you to upload your district calendar. And once you learn about the parent letter, you will draft that and then upload it here as well. The next section that we're going to take a look at is your IEP at a glance. So you will add pages here, just like this example image that I have here for you. So here's one from a previous field-based candidate. They just included all of the initials of the different learners that they would be teaching. And within each page, they uploaded the IEP at a glance form for that student. If you are at a high school setting, for example, you might, instead of having all of your learners' initials, your pages might be by the different hour that you're going to be teaching. But we can talk through those specifics at a later date. Then you're going to go ahead and set up Content Area 1. Maybe if you don't know what your Content Area 1 is right now, totally fine. You can just name those Content Area 1, Content Area 2, Content Area 3, and whenever you're ready to change that, you can just right-click, rename. So if you decide that you're teaching reading, math, science, social studies, whatever, calendar, you can adapt those titles here. Then once you have those sections created, you'll start with week 1 for your content area 1. Then you'll continue to add pages each week that you're adding new instructional plans. I wanted to show you just a few kind of templates that you could create within each of your weeks. Having some people do OneNote in the past, just found some really helpful organizational tips that you could use. So you could use insert, and you could insert a table. So here you'll see that there's a table, and then you've already kind of created for yourself like this teacher candidate down here, what the date is. And then you'll just insert your plan when you're ready. And then you'll have your data reflection that you'll upload as soon as you've taught your plan. So then you can put that under each plan that you've taught. We'll talk a little bit more about your weekly signature log that you'll add, as well as a weekly data reflection that you can add here too. So I'll just show you here is what it looks like, where one candidate had his cover page, his weekly lesson plans, and then his reflection and data that he kept all in one spot. So you can go ahead and create a tab for Content Area 2, even though you won't pick that up for another month or so. Then Content Area 3, you'll pick up towards the end of the field-based semester. Next, your section will be for the CT reflection. You could go ahead and add pages 1 through 16 if you wanted, because you will be completing one of these cooperating teacher weekly reflections each week. You have a couple of options. You could just have where you upload the form as is here and type your information right there, and then have your CT be able to respond. This might be a little bit troublesome though, since your cooperating teacher doesn't have access right now to OneNote. They're not able to type that information, so they may need to have it on a Word document, and then you would upload the Word document. Another option is you could create a Google Doc for yourself, and you could just keep the link as long as you make sure that it's on edit so that your supervisor is able to review. But this could be a nice place where you fill out your cooperating teacher weekly reflection, and then if they have the link to the Google Doc, they'll be able to put their feedback for your instruction for the week, and then all you have to have is that Google Doc link, and then your supervisor will be able to easily see that each week when you are when they're checking your notebooks. Next, we're going to look at the reflections point page. So you can just copy and paste this right into your OneNote notebook page. This is going to be a place that your supervisor is looking every other week to give you some points. So have you been keeping up with those CT weekly reflections? And then there's also a weekly data reflection that we'll talk about more. You have the opportunity to earn 3 points for each with each check. So a total of 36 points, because there'll be 6 points possible with each notebook check. Ongoing planning is going to be the next section in your notebook, and then you can just add a page for ongoing planning. Again, just like the reflection, you can go ahead and just copy and paste this right into your ongoing planning page. And again, there will be 6 different notebook checks. Your supervisor is going to offer points here for each notebook check to make sure that you're staying planned in advance, that you're letting your cooperating teacher know about those plans, you are making adjustments to your plan using feedback, etc. Next, you can add a section for essential applications. So we have 3 major essential applications in the field-based semester: the EBP, the EdTPA, and the IEP. So these will just be a place for you to have any of your documentation. When we have our pre-planned meetings, you can have your documentation and things that you need for those meetings. That will just allow visibility for your supervisor or for your field-based coordinator to be able to review your products with you in real time when we're having a conversation about those. Next is observation record forms. So here's a place where you can either upload, if your supervisor sends to you your observation record form, or if we're using Mosaic and there is a transcript of all of the comments that were tagged on your video, please upload those for each of the scheduled visits or observations that you have. So those are going to be your major sections, but I did want to alert you to another area. So if you come down to Content Library and you click there, you'll see a place here that has templates for field-based. So here's where you can find the form that you need for student emergency. Here's the IEP at a glance form. Here are the instructional plan templates that we use in field-based. Again, here's a place where you can just copy and paste the reflection point sheet right into your notebook, the CT weekly reflection, ongoing planning points, as well as instructional plan log. So all of these, the documents are right there. Just make one note that when you're in this content library section, that you aren't typing right on these pages. You will need to open this, download it, make a copy, add it to your own OneNote notebook page, because this content library is kind of like a community space. So you don't want to accidentally put your confidential information about your learners in a space where others would be able to see. The final template that we'll take a look at is the instructional plan log. So in order to ensure that you are maintaining your planning in advance with your cooperating teacher, you can download the instructional plan log, have that printed, they can write on that and you can upload that. Or again, you can create a Google Doc for yourself where you will just upload the link, you'll put the date, when the plan is for, your CT can digitally initial and then add some comments there about approving your plans or if any changes need to be made or any other kind of anecdotal information that they would like to share. So that is our OneNote notebook, kind of in a nutshell. If you have questions though, please feel free to reach out and we will be happy to answer them. Thanks so much.